channel. Today I thought it would be fun if we just chatted and talked about my current favorite things. Fashion trends, movies, books, and miscellaneous items that I've been really liking lately. Most of these are just really silly and just personal preference things, but I will say the last one on this list I will really go down fighting for, so stay tuned if you want to see that. Alright, so let's get right into it. My first section, we're going to talk about fashion. I think in general, my style is pretty, fantastical, ethereal. I'm not saying this is what I wear, I'm just saying this is what I tend to gravitate towards, and what I really like if I could afford it. I want to show you some photos here. I do not own any of these. I got all of these from Pinterest, and I compiled a board for you that I'm going to link in the description if you want to go and see where I got it from, or you want to pin it on your own. So I feel like one thing I'm really liking right now is sort of gauzy, cascading fabrics, lace. I'm liking velvet. I really like something with a bit of a sheen, like silk or satin. And I'm not a fashion historian by any means, but I really like things that seem to be medieval or Renaissance inspired. So I like empire waistlines and this sort of chainmail. I remember hearing people talk about this a few months ago, that this was sort of a trend. Another thing that I am loving right now is vertical stripes. So I feel like you can go a lot of different ways with it. In one way you can go full-on Tim Burton, black and white. I love the stark contrast. But then also with vertical stripes, it's sort of reminiscent of carnival. Same with just different geometric patterns. In terms of colors, mauve, dusty blues, rose, pinky rose colors, sage green, I would say it's sort of a lot of jewel tones. When talking about jewelry, I love silver overall. I tend to wear a lot of silver rather than gold. These sort of more organic, I don't quite know how you would describe it. These ear cuffs that have these really beautiful little swirls to them. I kind of like to think of these pieces being a little bit elven. I just dressed as Arwen from Lord of the Rings for Halloween, and I got to wear this very fantastical headpiece. And honestly, if I had the confidence, I would love to wear something like that, just my day-to-day life. And when it comes to shoes, I really like a pointed toe boot. I love when they're lace up. I love knee-high leather pointed toe boots. I had some. I got them on Depop for $15 US, and I was so excited. I wore them, I think, 4 times. And then most recently, I wore them to go see Moulin Rouge with my friends, and on my walk back they just completely fell apart. I was heartbroken. I had to throw them away this past weekend. So yeah, they're $15 and I don't think they're real leather or anything, but I miss them and I need to replace them. Those are really my favorite fashion inspo right now. Okay, next up we have some books. So this book, this is a very strong statement. This is a strong opinion, but I would say this book is probably my number one, my favorite that I've ever read. It's Sally Rooney, Intermezzo. I love this book. I love this book so much. I think what I love about it is she writes characters so well. I've read Normal People. That was my first one I read of hers. I read Conversations with Friends, Beautiful World, Where Are You? Yeah, so I really loved all of those, but this one, Intermezzo, it's about 2 brothers. And you get to read from both of their perspectives. It has a lot to do with family connections. It has a lot to do with relationships in general. I would say it has to do with grief. And I think my favorite thing about it, though, was one of the characters in particular. You get to read his thought process, and he has a little bit of a difficult time picking up on social cues, and he reads so closely into things. And so I don't know if this is specifically stated in the book, I'm forgetting, but I think it seems as though he's on the autism spectrum, and I think it's a really interesting perspective to share, and I think it's a really important perspective to share. So this one, I really highly recommend. It's really lovely. My next one, I am not a huge, or I wasn't a huge fan of poetry for a while. I tend to gravitate towards more narrative structured stories, and so This one is by an author who I feel like is typically a poet, but this one is selected essays. They're sort of like little short stories. It's Mary Oliver Upstream. I love this book. Normally, I think my judging of like a good book is like it's a page turner, you don't want to put it down, you don't want to stop reading it. This one is like kind of the opposite in the way that I wanted to read this as slow as I possibly could. I loved her use of words and her descriptions. It was just so beautiful and it was so thoughtful. And I also really like her focus on nature in a lot of her work. So yeah, I really highly recommend any of her work, but if you're not huge into poetry, then this is a good little starting point. Okay, and then my next one, Just Kids by Patti Smith. I love this woman so much. Oh my gosh. This book was just phenomenal. I loved it so much. Patti Smith, I actually had the great honor of attending sort of a Q&A session with her. She has such a whimsical and she has such like a carefree aura about her, but I know that that's not really accurate because she's someone who I view as being, from the outside, she seems like she's sort of lighthearted, but she's actually incredibly heavy-hearted. She views the world with such significance. I don't know, she just feels so deeply, and I really relate to her a lot, so I really look up to her. And Just Kids is just a phenomenal book, also about sort of human connection and art and feeling a little bit lost in life. One thing I also like about it is that I've had a lot of conversations lately with like my friends and family about, I don't know, just like fears of getting older and feeling like your life is moving by pretty quickly, and I'm in my 20s. I just feel like there's a lot of fear that's sort of like ingrained in me from a young age. Like, okay, like the 20s, this is my prime. Like I'm scared of turning 30 in a few years, or like I'm scared of getting older. But I don't remember where I read this or where I heard this, but someone said that reading memoirs is such a good, sort of not a cure, but it's a really helpful thing to do to sort of get over that fear and work through it, because in someone's memoir, their 20s are like such a teeny tiny little portion of their life. Oh my gosh, the rest of the memoir is like just as beautiful and just as vibrant. I think it's important to enjoy where you are and to just be grateful for what you have in the moment, not to wish away anything, but also, as you get older, it's an opportunity to just continue getting to know yourself. And I think that's really beautiful. And this book kind of reflects that, at least in my opinion. This next one, okay, this is cheating. I haven't actually read it yet. I picked this up just the other day and I thought I'd include it as like a little bonus edition. It's also Patti Smith. It's called Bread of Angels. The reason why I'm showing it to you is because it's signed. I'm so excited about this. I hope that it's focusing for you. But, oh my god, this is like a new prized possession of mine. This was just like casually sitting on the shelf. And it's funny, I was with my friend and I was walking through the bookstore and I saw her selection of books, Patti Smith, and I was like, oh gosh, I already have like 4 of her books at home that I haven't read, so I shouldn't go look at those because I don't need to buy anymore. But I'm so glad I looked at it because I got a signed copy of it. Yeah, oh, love. I'm gonna treasure this forever. And my next one, which is like also slightly memoir-ish, is David Lynch, Catching the Big Fish. I love David Lynch. I really love Twin Peaks. I love Mulholland Drive, Blue Velvet. I'm a huge fan of his in his film work. But this book I saw, and it says it's about meditation, consciousness, and creativity. And it was so serendipitous when I picked this up because I had just started going to a weekly meditation at a Buddhist temple, and I really have been enjoying it. I was also working through the book The Artist Way. My friend and I were doing The Artist Way together, and so it's sort of what inspired me to start meditating and start trying to be more creative. So then, yeah, like finding this book was perfect for me. It's not exactly him writing about his life per se, but he writes a lot of just sort of like musings about his thoughts on creativity, his thoughts on being present, And there's also some fun little behind the scenes from Twin Peaks in here and like from various works of his. So this one was really fun. And also, my sister told me this, that apparently there's an audiobook for this where David Lynch is the one narrating it. So I think that would be really cool. But this one was really fun. I recommend it if you like his work. Okay, next, let's get into some movies. So I'm going to start off with my favorite movie of all time, which is called About Time. And oh my gosh, if you haven't seen this movie, you're really missing out. Is it like a completely perfect movie? Like, are all of the ends tied up? Maybe not. However, will it change your life in the way that you view the world? Hopefully, yes, it did for me. It's sort of a rom-com, but I feel like it's more so just about life and, again, human connection and enjoying every day as it comes. The general plot of the movie is that this guy finds out on his birthday that all of the men in his family can travel back in time, but only to moments of their own lives. I love it so much that there is a wedding scene in the movie, and the bride walks down the aisle to the song Il Mondo. I got married in 2023, and we had a harpist playing, and she played Il Mondo as I walked down the aisle. Like, this is how obsessed I am with this movie. It is so ingrained. And to make sure that all of my friends understood the reference, I hosted like a movie night the night before my wedding, and I made my friends and family watch About Time. So yeah, I love it so much. My next movie is I never know if I'm pronouncing this word correctly. It's Studio Ghibli. Let me know if I'm saying it incorrectly. I love all of their films, but my personal favorite is When Marnie Was There. I feel like this is a really underrated one. A lot of people who are even fans of the studio, they haven't seen When Marnie Was There. But I think it's like a little bit polarizing. I think it's like some people love it, some people really don't like it. But I'm one of those who really enjoyed it. So that one has a lot to do with two young girls. It focuses a lot on themes of loneliness and of girlhood, and it's really special to me also just like the setting. It's based in this little seaside town where this girl goes to stay with, I think they're family friends of hers, because she's having a hard time mentally, and she needs to go and just like rest and sort of take a little break from busyness of life. I think the reason why this movie really resonates with me is because I grew up going to Maine every summer. My mom's side of the family is from there and lived there for a long time when she was growing up. And so I got to go every summer and stay at my grandma's house. And it was right on the water. And it was so beautiful and just like so idyllic. And it was sort of my safe space. It was like, I consider it to this day my heaven on earth. I still go to Maine every summer. So this movie, When Marnie Was There, reminds me a lot of like my own, not my own childhood necessarily, but the feelings that I felt when I was a child. And it also, the movie has a lot to do with just like generational bonds. And yeah, it's just like a really, really sweet and thought-provoking movie. And it's also just really visually stunning, in my opinion. My next movie is called Afterlife. And it's a Japanese film. It was filmed in 1998. This movie is also so thought-provoking. You're probably noticing a theme here. I really like somewhat existential movies who have kind of an underdog protagonist. But there's also like a little bit of whimsy or a little bit fantastical about it. So this one really does check all those boxes too. The premise of this movie is that when you pass away, you end up in this place that's sort of like purgatory, I suppose. And they tell you that in order to move on to your next life, you can take one memory from your prior life and you can take it with you. And so once you choose it, you tell them what it is, and these people make it into a short film, your memory, and they show it to you, they play it for you like in a theater as you ascend into your next life. So it sounds a little bit like a silly concept, but it's such a beautiful movie. The characters are all so endearing and it's so heartfelt. And I really recommend it, and it's funny because how I found out about this movie is I'm a big fan of Letterboxd, and when they were showing, it was Winona Ryder, they were showing an interview of like what are her 4 favorite films, and this was one of hers, and so yeah, I thank Winona Ryder for this one. I really love this movie so much. Okay, now we're gonna get into the miscellaneous portion of my video. And speaking of movies, this one is so silly. This is so niche. But, okay. My favorite person, my favorite actor is Willem Dafoe. I love this man so much. I'm gonna show you. I have a t-shirt with his face on it. Like, I adore this man. Also, I got this shirt on Etsy and I tried to find the seller for you guys so I could recommend it, but it says their shop doesn't exist anymore. So, sorry about that, but I bet you could find it somewhere else. I love Willem Dafoe. He's so odd. He's so eccentric, but he's also just like so sincere. He can play such like a sinister character, but also one who's so endearing. I mean, Green Goblin, he's like the perfect person for that. I adore this man, and I've actually gotten to meet him twice since living here in New York. So my first time, I went to the premiere of the movie Kinds of Kindness. It was good, but I was truly just there because Willem Dafoe was going to be there for like a Q&A before the film started. So of course I wore that shirt, and my husband Ryan managed to kind of snag him, and we got his autograph, and so it's up in my bedroom. I'll try and put a little photo here for you. But that is another prized possession of mine. And I know me talking about this and talking about the Patti Smith thing probably makes me sound like a stalker, like someone who's like so obsessed with celebrities or something. But it's really just those two. I really just love them. And I met him the second time. There's this theater, it's called Anthology Film Archives, and back in February of this year they were doing a series all focused on Willem Dafoe films, because he's in like everything. He's in so many movies. They played a Willem Dafoe movie I think almost every single day for months straight, and Willem was there at some of the screenings. So I went to one, we saw the movie Siberia, and I sat front row in my little Willem Dafoe shirt. And this is one of those theaters or one of these events where it's like everyone there is like very scholarly, like they studied film, they're here taking notes, they want to ask really like hard-hitting questions, and I'm sitting there front row just like so excited to be there. And I went and I saw him after the film ended, and I was just so excited. I was like beside myself. He was like, "I like your shirt," and he gave me a hug, and I got a picture with him. So I feel like at this point I met him twice. Next time he might like propose or something, who knows. I feel like we're on the right track for that to happen. Anyway, okay, now on just like a less silly but still just as fun, I want to talk about perfume. What a transition. But anyway, okay, so my signature scent, I think I would consider to be amber oil. I wasn't a huge perfume person, but my friend Nina was wearing this, and I remember I gave her a hug, and I was like, that's like the best smell I've ever smelled. And so thank you, Nina. I've been wearing this for years because of you. And then sort of similar, this one I think is pretty popular, the Sol de Janeiro. It has amber in it as well. And my sister-in-law got me this for Christmas. So thank you to Anna. I use both of these all the time. You can tell this one's like almost empty. And I have the whole like body wash, moisturizer, body lotion set of this one. So, okay, next. This one is another little just cutesy fun thing. Is this dang mug. Is this not the cutest thing you've ever seen? I love her. I got this at a little art market in Maine. This was only a couple years ago. And it is just so beautiful, and it's so thoughtful how they created it. Even the bottom of it has this little wavy detail. And I was able to find the The creator, it's called Fernie Ceramics. But yeah, I treasure this little mug. It's just so sweet. Sort of a similar fairy vibe is I'm a huge fan of handwritten letters. That is my love language. This stationery I've actually had since I was a child, like in elementary school. And it's so cute. It's little fairies. Let me show you a couple of them. If anyone is ever here for like pet sitting while I'm out of town, I'll write the little instructions, or I'll write them a little note on this stationery. And they're just so cute. There's one, and they're like a little bit shimmery. I don't know if you could tell. I just think that they're so cutie. Oh, adorable. Everyone needs a little bit of whimsy in their life. This next one is a card game. It's sort of more like conversation cards. So it's We're Not Really Strangers. And my sister got this for me when I was in college. I want to say it was like around 2020, maybe 2019. I can't completely remember. But if you've never played before, there are these little cards. And there's 3 different levels to them. So in level 1 is a little bit more surface level maybe, or it's just like first impression type questions. So like this one I just pulled says, do you think I fall in love easily? Why or why not? And then you just sort of like muse together. So you both answer the question, or whoever you're playing it with, you'll all answer that question. The next round is like, it gets quite a bit deeper. And so these ones you ask the other person to answer about themselves. So this one says, are you lying to yourself about anything? The longer you play these games, you really get to know someone, and then the third round is sort of like reflecting on the conversations that you've just had while playing this game. So this one that I've just pulled says, what about me is hardest for you to understand? So the reason why I really love these games is because they really help me deepen relationships with people who either I've just met them or even with like my own family or my husband. Asking people or coming up with questions that you wouldn't have even thought of yourself. And it's really just a wonderful icebreaker. And I actually have, this is like the original one, but I also have the relationship expansion pack, I have the family expansion pack, I have the self-love one, and then I even think there's like a forgiveness one that I have. And I have the sweatshirt. This is looking for someone to play We're Not Really Strangers with. So, yeah, sponsor me, please. We're Not Really Strangers. I love you guys. Alright, now the last one on our list. This is the one I mentioned at the beginning of the video that I will really go down fighting in support of this one. I just think it's really important. And I want to preface, before I start going on a tangent, that typically I will never think of a physical trait as being a trend or something. But this one, I'm going to have just one exception for that, because I've been seeing all sorts of things saying that people should be getting rid of this one really, really sweet, endearing trait that they have naturally. And it's smile lines. I love smile lines, and I hate seeing all this content of people wanting to get like Botox or wanting to, I don't know, like as soon as you even just type smile lines into Google or on Pinterest, everything comes up with how to get rid of smile lines or how to prevent them or before and after and things like that. And it really just breaks my heart because I think that they're so beautiful. And I just love when I meet someone who's like their smile, you can see it on their whole face. And I think it's just fascinating how if you have like dimples, then that's like so cute and youthful and fun. But smile lines are for some reason like you need to get rid of them. You don't want to have them. It's a sign of aging and all these things. I love thinking about smile lines as sort of like a natural tattoo in a way. It tells a story about you, of the life that you've lived and the times that you've laughed and the times that you've smiled, and it's just like, why would you want to get rid of that? So yeah, I'm gonna show you some beautiful, perfect photos of people that I found on the internet who I think look amazing with their smile lines. And I have them too. And I'm glad that I have them. I think they're so sweet. I would say, I'm gonna show you Audrey Hepburn and Jane Birkin. These are two people who I feel like are notoriously, they're style icons, beauty icons. And they have smile lines, and I love them. And they look amazing on them. I'm just, if you're looking at these photos and you're thinking anything other than that is a beautiful person, then I really think that might be a you problem. Maybe that's aggressive, but I don't think that's anything that should be changed or should be fixed. I think that maybe we should just look at them differently and see them for the beauty that they are. So anyway, that's probably like the most passionate that I'm gonna be about any of these silly little favorites in this video. But I'm just tired of people talking bad about them. I think that they're so lovely. Okay, so that was all for today's video, but I hope you enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun just yapping about all my favorite things. And I'm currently about to be in the process of moving, so I'd really like to do another one of these, but focusing on home trends. I could also ramble on about music and like literally any other thing, so you guys let me know if there's anything else you wanna chat about. But thank you so much for hanging out with me. I'll see you next time. Bye!